The biggest interclub competition, the mother of all leagues, talking about the UEFA Champions League, makes a return after a 4 weeks break. On Tuesday and of course on Wednesday, we have some interesting and tantalizing fixtures in the UEFA Champions League. Remember that PSG, they are the champions of the Champions League. Will they be able to defend the title they won last year? Only time will tell, of course. But this week, on Tuesday and on Wednesday, we have some interesting fixtures in the UEFA Champions League. The biggest game will be in San Siro. Inter Milan will take on Arsenal. Welcome to another edition of Sports Hangout, where we give you the latest coming from the ever-busy world of sports. We'll be talking about the UEFA Champions League on the show this day. I will give you a comprehensive preview to the games coming up on Tuesday and, of course, on Wednesday. I've got JJ here. JJ, we've had 6 matches already, 6 rounds of games already in the UEFA Champions League. Arsenal top of the Champions League standings. They've won 6 out of 6, 18 from a possible 18. They are playing away to Inter Milan on Tuesday. That's the biggest game against Inter Milan. For at Arsenal, they are not in any danger of missing out in the Champions League because, of course, they are top of the Champions League table. But what do you expect from this game? Arsenal playing away to Inter Milan in San Siro. Remember, the last season they went to San Siro, they lost by a long goal. Do you think that will change this season?
Oh, well, I expect it to change. But San Siro, over the years, have proved to be a resilient place for many teams to go. You struggle when you go to San Siro.
Because of their style.
Factors,
yeah, definitely.
It's a definitely arena to play at. And the fans, historic stadium. And when you go there, it seems like the size of the stadium, the magnitude of the history,
the noise,
it's like it affects
the San Siro,
go there.
The Anfield Stadium in England.
It has a way of making you feel terrified even before you kick that football. So, coincidentally, they both top their league table. Inter Milan have lost 4 games this season. Arsenal have lost just twice, or in the Premier League, while Inter 4 times in Serie A. And on the Champions League table, Arsenal, they are first, while Inter Milan are 9th. Wow. So if you look at it on that basis, on that statistics, you might want to think that Arsenal should have it easy because they hedge Inter on all statistics. That is quite a contrast, a sharp contrast. Yeah. Inter, they play with 3 defenders at the back, strong defenders.
3-4-3.
They have physical midfield and they are deadly in transition. So if you
they've got Lautaro Martinez up front. He's been scoring goals for
Inter at the back.
Definitely.
The ball is in the back of your net. But Arsenal, they are gifted technically. They have technical midfield defenders and they've got fantastic players up front. So they can score goals anytime. They can also defend. They are a well-compact team. So it's a battle between technicality on tomorrow. So hopefully we are going to see a crack of a game. And we expect that it's going to be really interesting again.
So I want to get your VAR, get the 3 points. Now, I'm asking you because, just like I said the other time, the last time they went to Italy in San Siro, they lost to Inter Milan last season. Do you think they can change that this season? Well, they've won all their matches so far in the UEFA Champions League, but this is a different ball game entirely. Last time they defeated Bayern Munich at the Emirates Stadium with Bayern 2, but that was at the Emirates Stadium. But they're playing away from home this time around. Do you think they can get 3 points or a standings, even if they get a point?
You know, the thing is, if you are playing in Europe and you are playing strong teams in Europe away, it's usually a difficult thing.
Very tough, yeah.
And yes, I think you look at Inter Milan, that San Siro is the size of the stadium.
But Liverpool have beaten them. This is...
You know, football can be intriguing. Sometimes what Liverpool has done doesn't mean Arsenal are going to replicate that. Now it's a really delicate game for Arsenal. They want to, of course, it doesn't really affect their standing
because they are top,
on the Champions League, but they want to go there. I'm sure they don't want to go there and lose for themselves because they want to get to the first 8 to qualify automatically. They don't want to play playoffs because they are 9th right now.
Yes.
And as it stands,
qualify automatically. I think they are more under pressure than Arsenal.
They are more under pressure and they are more motivated in that sense
than Arsenal to win this
Arsenal.
game.
So it's going to be an evenly contested game. 2 sides, physical sides, but that's where the technicality comes in.
All right, let's go to another game. Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu. They are playing at home. That will be their first Champions League game under their new interim manager, Abalua. Remember, Xabi Alonso was of Real Madrid in the Champions League. They are playing at home to AS Monaco at the Santiago Bernabeu. Over the weekend, they won their game in the Spanish La Liga, so they have a bit of momentum right now going to this game. And if you look at their standings, they are not Real Madrid. They are in the automatic qualification spot. They are playing at home to Monaco. Do you think it will be a walk in the park for them?
Zinedine Zidane came to Real Madrid and won the Champions League in his first season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So they are a team that they
know how to play the Champions
They know how
League.
to play. It's like a hunter that knows his terrain well. So I think that's going to be the difference between Madrid and Monaco now. Monaco, they're like this young. They need to follow the experienced hunter so they don't, they don't miss the track. And so it's going to be an experienced team fighting it out against a young, fearless team. But then, sometimes you can be young, fearless, and be rash in your decision making, which could play into Real Madrid's hand. And
you expect them to win this game?
9 minutes. You can play well for 89 minutes against Real Madrid. And in the 90th minute, they can give you the rent.
Yeah, because they have done that before.
Because that's what they do. They've done it consistently. Champions League is just more or less like... Then you never could say never, but on this, I expect Real Madrid to win.
Okay, Liverpool playing away to Olympique Marseille in France. Liverpool they've had a torrid season across all competitions in the Spanish, in the Premier League as well, and they've lost a couple of games in the Champions League this season. They are playing away to Marseille. They are not in the, they are outside the automatic spot, I guess. Talking about Liverpool, and they are playing away to Marseille. Marseille is also a team that is difficult to play against, away from home especially, and then they are hosting Liverpool. Do you think that Liverpool will be able to get 3 points of games? After this one, we have the last round of games, and of course at that particular time, it's more tricky for Liverpool. Do you get 3 points?
Oh, okay. I think Milan are not 9th on the league table. They are on the Champions League table. They are 6th. Oh, yeah. So they are also in the qualification. They are also in the automatic qualification position. Yeah. Liverpool are actually 9th. Wow. And so if you look at Liverpool and Marseille, Liverpool are having, like you said, horrific season in the league.
They're struggling.
But somehow in the Champions League, they're not bad. 9th. They're not doing bad.
But they are outside the automatic, because if it ends like this, they'll play playoffs now.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
Marseille are bouncing in the league, but they are 16th in the Champions League.
The Champions League is different.
So
that's why they call it the League of Champions. I mean, the fact that you are doing very well in your league does not mean that
Champions League,
the Champions League is different.
You've got to be the best of each.
I mean, I remember the first time Chelsea won the Champions League in 2012. They were struggling in the league. They didn't even finish in the top 4. They finished outside the top 4. But they won the UEFA Champions League. So it doesn't matter your form in the league. The Champions League is different.
The thing is, in the league, you play against teams that have studied your tactics repeatedly over the years.
So they know how to,
and so they know how to cancel you out.
Yes.
But then in the Champions League, you can play against a team and they struggle to understand for your tactics. They still struggle sometimes because it's not something they are used to. So that's Liverpool. That's why I said they are struggling in the league. Yeah. They are not doing poorly in the Champions League. Marseille are bouncing in the league. That's their position on the league.
But do you expect
Liverpool to win?
Maybe a draw?
Maybe a draw. A draw, I think, would be a fair result on their performances, on the differences, the variation in their performances this season.
Let's talk about Tottenham Hotspur a bit.
But don't you forget, before we leave Liverpool, Marseille.
Okay.
Marseille are managed by Roberto
De
Zerbi,
a former Brighton
manager. And he plays this game, intensive game. But Liverpool, I expect, well, like we said, I think a draw would. But
Marcel also have some quality player, Mason Greenwood, who understands the Premier League. He has played against Liverpool countless times, so
it's going to be a cracker too.
Yeah, cracker players.
In fact, it might eventually be the game of the week.
Definitely. Tottenham must pop against Borussia Dortmund. Tottenham this season, I really don't know how to describe Tottenham Hotspur. They are not doing very well in the Premier League. In the Champions League as well, they are also struggling. In other cup competitions, they are out as well. So, but they are playing at home against Dortmund. And if you look at their spots, they are 11th right now. They are outside the automatic Champions League spot. It means that they need to win this game to get into the top 8 so that they can play, they can go through the round of 16, because playing the playoffs can be a bit tricky. Just imagine last season, Manchester City faced Real Madrid in the playoff. One of them had to go because it's the playoff. One has to be eliminated. So, but they are playing at home to Dortmund, and but Tottenham Hotspur, I really don't know what to expect from Tottenham.
Well, the Champions League is wide open. Yeah. From the third place, Paris Saint-Germain on 13 points.
The gap is
to
not that much.
11th, in fact, to 10th place Newcastle is just 3 points.
Wow. So it means that the table can change after this match day before the last round of games.
Lose a game and you find yourself where you don't want to be. So Tottenham, Borussia Dortmund are 10th.
Yes.
Tottenham are 11th. But on the league table, Borussia are 2nd in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
While in the Premier League,
Tottenham
Hotspur are 14th.
14th, wow.
They've lost a massive 9 games this season. While Borussia, they've just lost once in the league.
But we can't compare the Bundesliga.
We can't compare. We can't compare.
Yeah.
They've lost. Borussia Dortmund have lost once in the Champions League too. You understand? And they've drawn more. It's going to be a game of. Well, I think Tottenham. They also have a way of.
Remember, they won the Europa League last season.
Even when they were doing poorly.
Yes.
They finished, what was that, 17th or 18th?
They barely escaped relegation.
They barely escaped relegation. So it's a way of saying Champions League is Champions League for a reason. You are extra, it's like you are extra motivated.
Yeah.
But Borussia Dortmund and Tottenham Hotspur, it's going to be, I think, home advantage here. But no. Look at Tottenham's form at home this season. They've lost more games at home.
Like they are better away from home.
So if they do make that performance again, they're going to get comprehensively beaten.
Newcastle United, they are playing at St. James's Park against PSV. And if you look at their position, Newcastle United, they are also outside the automatic qualification spot for the UEFA Champions League. And I look at Newcastle United's road performance in the Champions League this season. They've been inconsistent. I remember they lost to Barcelona at home some months ago, but they have another opportunity this match day 7. They're playing at home. This is their last home game of the Champions League before the round of 16. That's if they manage to qualify. They're playing at home to PSV. Do you think that they can beat PSV? Newcastle United playing at home to PSV, JJ? PSV, they are not in a good position.
They are not. Newcastle are 12th. PSV, they are 21st.
They are even PSV, they are trying to qualify for the
playoffs. They are out of.
They can't qualify.
They can't qualify at all.
Yeah.
In fact, they can't qualify now. They are out of qualification already.
Wow. So it's a dead rubber game.
It's a dead rubber game. No. I mean the position they are now. If we try to end now, they're out of. So they are. That's going to be their motivation.
They need to get 3 points away from home.
They really need to get that. And Newcastle recently have been very poor. Have been poor themselves. They've not been winning games. So, but it takes one moment for your season to change. So I think that's what you want. But the motivation, the game here is such that you will want to win. And the point between Newcastle United and PSV too is just 3 points.
3 points. So a loss can happen.
A loss and you're back. And Newcastle might find themselves even out of the playoffs themselves.
Okay.
So that alone is extra motivation for games. And unfortunately, sometimes that type of motivation can lead to some drab of a draw.
Yes.
Uninteresting games. They want to cancel themselves out. They want to be defensive. We want you to come out there and play really fantastic football. But it is what it is. You just want Champions League money. It's much for you to,
All right. The last game that we are going to be reviewing is the one between Sporting CP and the champions PSG. Well, PSG, for me, just my opinion, I don't think they are going to defend the title they won last season. Talking about PSG, they lost a couple of players. They've been battling with a lot of injury crises. Ousmane Dembele has not really been the Ousmane Dembele that we used to know. Last season, he was unsung for PSG, but this season, his performance seems to have nosedived. But Sporting CP away to PSG, that is a game that promises to be interesting. JJ, I want to ask you, Sporting CP playing at home to PSG. PSG, they are still in the automatic Champions League spots, I guess.
They are third.
They are third, so I think they are not really under pressure, but I don't think they want to lose this game. They are playing away to Sporting CP, who are also not doing badly. 14th. They can also still qualify for the automatic spot. So how do you think this game will pan out? Sporting CP playing in Portugal up against the champions PSG.
Yeah, I think, again, the difference between PSG and Sporting is just 3 points. It's like this 3 points is a massive issue this season. And if you look at most teams are not losing many games.
Yes.
Like just 1 loss, 2 losses, and they are in places where they don't want to be. And for PSG, their form hasn't really been gung-ho like last season. Well, that doesn't really mean they can't put up surprise. In fact, it's not surprise. They can pull up. They can come up.
So do you think they can defend the one last season?
Well, that's going to be a huge ask.
Because it's just the beginning.
A huge
Round of
ask
16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, then you go to the final.
Yeah, but if you look at them last season too, they weren't really performing well in the group stages. Even up to round of 16 stages, but from the quarterfinals, they began to pull up results that people never expected. And so basically on that, you could say they could repeat that, but sometimes it's too much for a team to repeat the Champions League to retain it. It's more difficult to retain the Champions League, and that's why you've got to credit Real Madrid for doing it 3 in a row. And so Sporting CP, they are second in the league, and PSG are third. PSG are second too. And so it's going to be really a huge game for the two of them. 1 loss in the league for Sporting and 2 losses in the league for PSG. And like I said, they haven't really lost much in the Champions League either. So it's not they're doing poorly, both of them. And so it's going to make for an interesting game. Sporting CP, they're playing. They play attacking football. They're high scoring team as well. PSG, they don't know how to defend either to play, so it's going to make fun to watch. And I expect there will be goals that I think PSG will go and nick it in the end. Okay,
we didn't plan on talking about those who that call themselves the world champions, but that's Chelsea. We'll talk about them. They are playing at home to Pavos. It's a game they should be able to win, but see, with Chelsea, sometimes you don't know what to expect from Chelsea. Chelsea have been consistently inconsistent this season. Games that you expect them to win, they will drop points. The ones that you expect them to lose, they find a way of winning, or probably getting something. Like I remember away to Manchester City, scoring a late equalizer, but they are playing against Pavos. That should be a no-brainer for Chelsea. They should be able to win it.
But I think Chelsea are going to really, because recently, with a new manager,
they have a new manager.
You see, there's a tweak in their structure that's make them a bit more, even though they are still a bit leaky, still a bit jetty at the back, but I think they are really going to beat Pafos. And if they do play like they did play against Arsenal, Pafos is going to be in for a really long night.
All right, let's get
they are world champions for a reason.
They call themselves world champions. I've been saying world champions that cannot beat Brighton. That one, they're not world champions. So please, let's get your comments. Let's get your comments on our page, Sports Hangout. Get predictions. Inter Milan, Arsenal. We've been able to preview a couple of games. See other fixtures, like 7 of 8 games that will go down on Tuesday and of course on Wednesday in the UEFA Champions. Let's get your comments on what will be the outcome of those interesting and tantalizing fixtures.
And will the world champion be world champion again?
Match day 7 of the
How
UEFA
Champions.
Champions.
Managed to go for that competition? On
what
basis?
No, because of their coefficients. I mean, Chelsea won the Champions League in 2012.
Okay.
They won it again in 2021, and they've been in and around of the Champions League. So they are a big team when it comes to the UEFA Champions League.
Okay.
The problem, however, is that the league for them. See, in the Champions League, you cannot rule out Chelsea. Chelsea, they know how to play the Champions League as well. When they last won it in 2021, nobody gave them the chance because they even sacked Frank Lampard mid-season and then brought in Thomas Tuchel, and then somehow Thomas Tuchel got to the final, and then against Manchester City, they defeated Man City by a long goal. Kai Havertz scoring the goal for Chelsea, and that was how they won the Champions League. So with Chelsea, then they, of course, they did that in the Club World Cup, beating PSG.
They are coefficient leaders now.
Maybe. Let's get your comments on our fan page, Sports Hangout, your predictions for those games coming up on Tuesday and of course on Wednesday. I remain Toby.
I'm JJ.